there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. It's time for an edition of Monster Comic Reviews, where I talk about my monster pile of superhero books. Someday I'm going to need to change the title of this thing. Superhero books aren't quite so monstrous as what they once used to be. So, yeah. Maybe give me some suggestions as we roll out the end of the year. So, this is second to the last a review I will do for 2014. This is for December 17th. December 24th is really the last week of comics being sent out. I think there's a couple trickle out on December 31st. But whatever, let's talk about the books for the week of December 17, 2014. First up, we have Batwoman. This is a Darwin Cook cover, variant cover. Love that with all the rogues gallery on it, basically. Somehow, not one to double dip on normal covers, typically. I ended up with 2 copies from Discount Comic Book Service. I paid for both of them. How it slipped by me, I don't know. So, Batman number 37, Endgame Part 3. Really like this issue. Not sure exactly how much I want to talk about it because John DeCosta over on his channel has been hinting that there might be a Bat Chat coming up sometime. That could be awesome. Would love to talk about the Bat books that are coming out right now. Endgame in particular has got some cool stuff going on. I am a Joker fan. I don't need Joker to be in every Bat book that's out there, but I almost always enjoy it when he does show up. This feels like a wonderful cap on really kind of what Batman Death of the Family set up. Joker is back. Implications as that maybe that wasn't his face, maybe it was, don't know. Any rate, this issue in particular is wonderful. We have we get these moments where we find out that maybe the Joker's been around a very long time and has been manipulating stuff for a very long time. Gordon is looking over some old pictures and he's suddenly recognizing the Joker is in the background in different places. Now, I don't know, can this stuff be photoshopped, manipulated in some way, and actually be current stuff that the Joker has planted there just to mess with Gordon? That we don't know. Will we find that out? I'm not sure. The city is getting gassed with this horrid new version of the Joker gas, which there currently is no antidote. Batman is struggling to find patient 0 to hopefully extract some blood work from them to work up an antidote for this new version. Clearly the Joker is messing with Batman. There are some hints at Crime Alley, at the movie Zorro, in this Joe Chill. Gordon thinks that he kills Joker at one point in this, which is fabulous. And then we end with this kind of acknowledgement that we all wondered about coming out of the end of Death of the Family. You know, does the Joker know who Batman is? Or is he so crazy and obsessed with Batman himself that he'll never let himself recognize, you know, who that is? And we potentially get a revealing here that answers that for us. And so it's all really cool. It's all really interesting. Loving this Endgame to pieces. It's been exciting. I even liked the first issue. I know some people didn't. With him kind of fighting the Justice League, that they felt like that was kind of, you know, over the top and was missing some story elements. Yeah, I guess there's some fair criticism to that. But I still think this is really exciting, really cool. I'm just digging it. It feels like a fun superhero book. And it's grim and gritty. It is Batman, but I'm having a fun time reading it. So very excited by that. It's been a blast. Happy to be reading it. Feels like a good and successful story with lots of really cool elements in it. Another awesome book, Batman and Robin, issue number 37. This is yet another Darwin Cook variant cover. I didn't get both covers on this one. I was torn though, just because I really do like the Tomasi artwork. I like the Tomasi covers. Kind of like to have the whole run intact of the actual, this is the official book, as opposed to the variants tied in. So I may end up going back and picking up I got a couple, because I think I got the Monster of the Batman and Robin also. So maybe going back and picking those up, just because of that. To have a solid, all the regular covered run on this amazing, amazing run of Batman and Robin, which I've been incredibly enjoying. Here we get what it's all about, why they went to Acropolis. We get a fisticuff with Batman and Darkseid, and you think that's ridiculous. Darkseid, you know, one punch, Batman's a mess. You know, even though he's Batman. Come on, let's be real here. But it works, and it works really well. The artwork in here is amazing, showing this incredible fisticuff fight, because of course Batman's wearing the hell suit to help him out. There's some great, great imagery in here, some great lines. You know, Batman unleashing some wonderful powers that give us some great panel shots, just some incredibly dynamic work in it as far as art goes. And of course we get the thing at the end that I won't spoil, but everybody kind of knows, the internet spoiled it. You know, well, everybody knows. Damian's back. What capacity, we don't necessarily know for sure. And there is a price to pay for bringing him back. And we see that at the very end. It's done so incredibly well. Tomasi and Gleason just get Damian. They just get the whole Damian, Bruce, Batman and Robin aspect of this relationship in such an amazing way to tell such an incredible and exciting story. I am one of those cynical people that goes, oh, resurrection story. You know, we've seen it a million times, blah, whatever. Super excited to have seen this happen. Really liked the way it happened. Completely okay with the delivery of it and whatnot. Excited to see what happens next. Next week, Robin Rises. Omega? I think it's Omega. Alpha and Omega. Comes out, which will end cap the end of this whole story arc. We'll get to see what Damian does, what Bruce does, and then we'll get this exciting thing going forward of what's this new dynamic going to be like? What really is Damian like now? Is he the same old kid? How much has changed? And I'm just excited to continue to see Tomasi and Gleason doing this book and telling the great, great stories that they've been telling. It's just been a magical book. Next up, Batman Eternal, issue number 37. This issue is like one of the worst issues of Batman Eternal I think I've read. No element of it, the Catwoman element of it, is horrible. The villains that are in this that kind of forming a team is really poorly written. The art is along the same lines. It is just gonna help a cop out with Bard and Bullock and Sawyer is bad. The elements with Batwing are bad. Most of the story is told in a fashion of telling us what they're doing while they're actually doing it. I'm punching the person in the face. Well, if I can already see in the panel you're punching somebody in the face, why are you telling me that too? You know? Just really bad. And normally, the people who are doing the main work on this book, I normally would like, but no, it was not good. It was not a good issue. Not a good issue at all. Oh, speaking of not good issues, Batwoman number 37. Clearly we're getting more explanation as to how they end up in space. There's some horrible vampire stuff in here. There's some horrible stuff with the demon that doesn't make a lot of sense character-wise. Clayface on the cover. They use him in kind of a dumb fashion. He's just a vessel to bring Morgan Le Fay into existence. I'm yawning because that's kind of where I'm at. It's sad. We know the book is going to be canceled. Got a couple more issues left. And this has just been not even mediocre. It's just been poor. So I'm hoping when this book gets canceled, we hit May, and they reintroduce, or not reintroduce, but give us some new titles back because of all the titles that that DC has canceled. I hope this comes back with a creative team that's excited and has a desire to be there. Hopefully, with Doyle being the Batman editor now, and he's kind of opened up the doors to a lot more different kinds of things with the Batgirls and the Gotham by Midnight and Gotham Academy. Hopefully get some exciting people who are excited to be on this title, who are excited to tell some sort of a story, who have gone back and done some research, understand what this character is about, you know, have looked at the Greg Rucka run, have looked at J.H. Williams and Blackman's run, and went, these are core values of this character. These are what she would stand up for. This is what she's going to fight on. This is what she won't fight on. This is what she is. And take that information and tell us some really, really cool, kick-ass Batwoman stories. That's what I hope for. Hopefully we see her back in a cool capacity. But it's not here. Catwoman, issue number 37, another Darwin Cook cover. Absolutely love this one. Also, really enjoying Catwoman. I really like the way these books have all been set up since our new creative team is on the book. Valentine, the writer, and Brown on art. I like that Valentine starts out every issue by having a quote from some piece of literature and ends in a quote of some piece of literature, both of the same thing. Tends to tie into the story really well. One of the things I'm really enjoying about this is we get in Selina's head a lot, Catwoman's head, as she's running this kind of crazy, violent business that she's attempting to run. And it's really interesting in the aspects of she is talking and thinking about other women throughout history that have kind of been in some level of situation that she's in, women of power, women of rule, women of business, and how did they do what they did, and how can she apply that to where she's at now? And this one has to do with the most infamous and famous and most successful female pirate, which I'm drawing a blank on that female pirate's name right offhand. Qing Shi, and how she built up this massive pirate empire, became incredibly wealthy, opens a gambling house, and retires to that gambling house. And the thing that Celine's most interested in is how is she successful at retiring and running a house? How did that work? And that's what she's I think that's really cool. It demonstrates that Celine is a thinking woman, that she's not just about the moment, and she's not just about being gorgeous and beautiful and being eye candy. She is those things. She can be about the moment, especially when she's embracing the full persona of Catwoman, but she knows she has a task at hand, and she has the facilities to do it. And I just love that, and that's all put in here. It works. It makes her even more interesting and more dynamic because of that. It makes her a smart person, a smart character, and I'm enjoying this aspect of her. And in this issue, she has to make some, I mean, before we were talking about her potentially doing heroin deals, moving some heroin so she could use the docks so she could get some guns sold and moved out of Gotham to try and protect Gotham. Clearly, she doesn't want to introduce heroin on the streets of Gotham either, because that's going to destroy Gotham also. But you got to make some tough calls along the way. We thought that was a tough call. In this, a snitch is exposed. The snitch is in her house, and she has to make some incredibly tough calls in here. Some very morally ambiguous choices as to what she is going to do. To ultimately be successful in this business, to ultimately take control of Gotham, to ultimately make it a secure and safe place that everybody can operate within, instead of the madhouse war that is kind of spun out of the whole Batman Eternal thing. I like the book, can you tell? I think it's smart, I think she's smart, I'm enjoying it. I know it's not going to last forever, but I'm really enjoying it while she is doing this instead of being Catwoman. Very cool. Another really cool book on a whole other stream, Ms. Marvel, issue number 10, continues to have all the charm and all the brilliance this book has pretty much had since issue 1. Camilla continues to be this wondrous character exploring what it takes to be a superhero, how hard of a road it is, what seems like easy choices in the movies and in the books that she reads, ultimately it ends up not being the case for her when she's actually doing it, to an amusing and very satisfying end most of the time. In this issue, she finds out that all these people that she has rescued are volunteers to be batteries. They've been convinced that their generation is totally meaningless, and for them to be successful and for them to add meaning to the world, it would be good if they were a recyclable resource. Of course, Camilla thinks that's crazy, tries to explain to them all this wonderful things about how they could be doctors, lawyers, engineers, presidents of the United States, all this great, great stuff. It maybe almost swears the, convinces them that the inventor is a bad guy, and that Camilla's right, that Ms. Marvel's right, that they should be, stopping this guy, but they're not really quite there. And of course, then she points out that the inventor is a dog napper. He stole Lockjaw from Camilla, and that just puts all the kids over. You're right. Nobody who's good, nobody who's out to do good in the world steals a girl's dog. It just doesn't happen. So they all rally behind her. You can feel that. It feels good. They charge off to fight the bad guy, and it doesn't quite square out exactly how they wanted it to. And we're left with kind of this cliffhanger as to what's going to happen. I think we're getting close to tying up this whole battle with the inventor. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm enjoying this. If it takes forever to defeat the inventor, I'm perfectly fine with that. Because the book's been brilliant. I would never say to change anything about this book. It's just smart and charming all the way around. There aren't enough books that fall into this vein of just being all this kind of really, really great, good, hopeful stuff that even the hardened, cynic comic book reader like me can get behind and really enjoy. So all thumbs up for Ms. Marvel number 10. And finally this time around, the new adventures of Thunderworld. Grant Morrison, this is yet another Multiversity book coming off the heels of probably one of the books of the year with Pax Americana. Frank Quietly and Grant Morrison wrote an incredible piece there on so many levels. What was this going to be like standing up to it? And you know what? This is an amazing book also. Amazing for different reasons. Cameron Stewart doing the art on it. Just as a little bit of comic knowledge, Cameron Stewart is the writer and breakdown artist for the current Batgirl run. Cameron Stewart has also done lots of work with Grant Morrison in the past. They have a working history, and I think it shows here. I think this also shows just how smart of a writer and how versatile Grant Morrison can be if he chooses to be. Grant Morrison has his writing style. He has his way of telling a story, and you either like that or you don't like that, clearly. But in this case, with this book, Grant Morrison puts on the mantle of somebody writing a Captain Marvel book of the era, and he does an amazing job of it. The smart story is still there, but done in this much more wholesome, upright, broad chest, big-chested, broad-shouldered, shining smile, kind of a way of delivering the Marvel family, which makes them so awesome, makes them lots of fun. Great stuff in here, some wonderful kind of twists. Like I said, the artwork is just brilliant. Cameron Stewart does such a great job of encapsulating and capturing the mood that is Captain Marvel. This will probably the last time you'll see Captain Marvel referred to as Captain Marvel in the DC Universe. They seem to have completely dropped that moniker altogether. I was actually kind of surprised to see it in here, excited by that. I like him with the name Captain Marvel as opposed to Shazam. Shazam is a thing he says. Shazam is a wizard that gives him the powers. He's not Shazam. He's Captain Marvel. But, beside that, you also get the Monster Society shows up. You get Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. are in it. It's just a lot of really good stuff. There's some great action scenes. I really love this scene in particular. They're just, I don't know, there is a weight to that car smashing into the flex chest Captain Marvel that I think is fabulous. It ties into the other multi-universe stuff. There is the comic books in here. I love the take on the comic books. About no wonder they got canceled in this case, because they're looking at a comic that has our different version of the Justice Society in it. And, you know, how about dreary and how drab it is and whatnot. And clearly that's why it gets canceled. You know, commentary on comic books and that sort of thing is in it. And of course the book ends in the you know, rightful fashion that a Captain Marvel book would, with them all flying off up into the sky, big smiles and everything. Just a really, really enjoyable book that encapsulates this style very, very well. Great stuff. Really been enjoying the heck out of the Multiversity stuff. Just really interesting. You know, part of me is really curious to see how the whole story altogether gets tied together and what they do with it. And part of me just doesn't care. I'm just enjoying the hell out of all these different kind of other stories. They've just been great. And that is it. Thanks for watching. What'd you think? I thought it was a pretty solid week of books as a whole. What am I not reading that I should be reading that came out in the week of December 17th? Let me know. Hit me up. Talk to me. Talk to you. Have a good one.